Hey guys, Shawn Mahdavi here with realbees.com, and I've got a awesome interview with you today by the name of Garry Wise. Garry grew up in real estate family. In 1997, Garry became the founder and owner of a real estate team servicing luxury homeowners. In 2005, Garry became the director of sales and the CFO at the Goodlife team located in Austin, Texas. During that time, Garry and Christina Wise, that's the Goodlife CEO, have made it their personal mission to research and perfect using the iPad to facilitate a complete paperless transaction with buyers and sellers. In the 3+ years since beginning his endeavor, Garry has become the paperless agent expert. And when he is not sharing his expertise with the team, he's conducting webinars, sharing best practices with other agents all across the country. Enjoy the interview. Hey Garry, what's going on, man? Thanks for joining us today.
Well, Shawn, thank you so much for having us. We're delighted to be here with you and share what we've been doing over the past 3 or 4 years with you.
Yeah, we're going to be, it's exciting. And we got a really cool topic today, and we're going to talk about technology and really focus on 3 things. We talked about saving time, being more profitable, and getting referrals. And I know you guys have just really mastered, you've been in the business for a long time, like I said before. And one of the biggest things that really you guys have honed on is technology and how agents can use it to be more profitable. So before we get started, I just want to let everybody know that's watching today is that we are going to be talking a little bit about a special presentation that you and I are going to be doing together, and it's entitled the Paperless Agent iPad for Real Estate. So we're going to be teaching, going more in depth, and so before you guys click the button wherever there is above or below the video, watch the video right now. We're going to really go through some really cool stuff. So Garry, tell me what a paperless agent is. What is a paperless agent? What do they look like in today's marketplace?
You know, that's a really good question because, when you say paperless agent, I think people have so many different misconceptions or conceptions about what a paperless agent is and what a mobile agent is. And then also, what does that afford you in the business today? Like, what does that get you? What kind of differentiation do you get from that? Because it's like a huge buzzword. And, Christina Wise, our founder and CEO, started this paperless movement in real estate, really focused on saving our own agents' time, focused on producing a better experience for our customer to where we take them from a 4-star to a 5-star experience, and then also truly focused on how do we save money. So, it's all about that when we're working with our own agents. And so what we did is we focused on how do we remove all of this paper and all of this waste from our business. And then what happened is we kind of transitioned into, okay, given the new technology that Apple is coming out with, how do we use this technology to be more mobile and enable our agents to produce more transactions in less time? And so what it looks like is our own agents, every single one of our agents are mobile. They all are masters at the iPad. And if you went out with any of our agents, what would happen is if you're a buyer, you'll go out and all they take with them is their iPad. And you'll spend a day with them touring homes, inspecting them, and then going back and writing an offer at the house that you want to purchase. And you'll sign on your iPad. It's fantastic because you no longer have to go back to the office. You don't have to waste time filling out forms either by hand or on the computer, printing them, reviewing them with the client. More than likely the client's tired by that time and then they want to come back the next day and then they have buyer's remorse and then they're like, oh, I don't want to do it. Well, what happens here is that we get commitments from our clients while we're in the field. They write the offer at the home they're excited about. And given today's market where there's such limited inventory with homes on the market, what it does is it allows our agents to win multiple offer situations because, man, they're the first one in, they're negotiating, they make it easier on the listing agent to be able to transact with us because given the technologies that we use, it just makes it easier on everybody. So I know that's a long-winded answer, but that is what a mobile paperless agent looks like in today's age.
When you were saying that, what I was thinking of is like the carpe diem, like seizing the moment. Like you're in the heat of the moment. It's there. They're excited. They're ready to move forward. And I'm sure a lot of agents today could probably agree with me when they say this, but sometimes they're just not ready. They just have to go get some stuff done. They don't have the technology at hand to strike while the iron's hot. And so Time kills deals sometimes. I know it's kind of an old saying, but it does kill deals.
It
Um,
does.
well, so let me ask you a question because this is really important. You can go out and get an iPad or a tablet. You can go out and get these devices, and they range anywhere from 200 to 500 bucks. I guess considering on if you get the Wi-Fi, all these the bells and whistles. How come agents? Not every agent has one of these in hand.
Well, so this is a funny story. Is I was actually teaching this to an agent in California, and I asked him. I said, "Well, do you have an iPad?" And he says, "Yeah, I do." And I said, "Well, are you using it in business?" He says, "Yes, I am." I said, "Well, that's great. We have like this foundation to start from." And I said, "How are you implementing it and using it?" He goes, "Well, what I do is when I get in the car with my buyers, I hand my iPad to their kids to keep them occupied as we're going to show homes." And I thought, that's actually a really good tool. I might need to buy two iPads, one for their kids and one for my use. But that's how, seriously, a lot of agents have iPads already because, there was that movement, that excitement from Apple, and everybody's like, okay, we got to get these iPads and be mobile, but they don't know how to use them effectively. And then what happens is you'll go to any real estate conference across the country, and what they tell you during that conference is, here are the top 50 apps or 20 apps or 10 apps that you need in real estate. The problem is that they're not teaching you how to use them in a system. And so that is exactly why in our assessment, agents aren't using them from beginning to end, soup to nuts, of how to truly use it throughout the entire transaction, because there's just a lack of knowledge. And it's not because the realtor isn't trying. It's because it took us 2.5 years to learn the apps, to design the system, and then to begin really using it. So, you can't blame anybody for not taking 2.5 years to learn this, because we've got to eat, we've got to make money, we've got to sell homes. So what we do is we have designed the entire system so that agents just go online, learn from our system, learn from our mistakes, and learn from all the money and time and energy that we've dumped into this and invested in this for you, so that then you don't have to spend the 2.5, 3 years learning or making up your own system. Just take ours and go do it. And what we find is that within a week or 2 weeks, agents are able to become truly mobile and truly paperless by using the technologies and the techniques that we've developed.
Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting how and you don't. Yeah, I've kind of seen a drop in it, but I'll always see a post on Facebook or in some type of technology group on Facebook. Hey, I just got an iPad. What are the top 20 apps that I should get? And everyone's just listing out all these different apps. And that's what I did. I'm guilty of it as well. When I got my iPad, I got my first iPad for Christmas a couple years ago, and I was like literally going on like, what are the coolest apps that you can tell me? And people were telling me Evernote and Dropbox, and there's all these different things. I mean, there's just so many of them, and I was like, cool. When I went and started downloading all of them, and I'm like, all right, what do I do next? And it was like it's interesting that you say that. It's good to know that you guys are actually teaching them. So, I had a really good question I wanted to ask, and you kind of alluded to it before. How and I know it's through education and knowledge, because I was listening to you and you said that. But I think a lot of times right now we have technology. It's like, oh, I'm cool. Check out my iPad. Check out my new Android phone. How do they go from being cool with technology and like it's like I'm cool to, it's really not about being cool. It's just about being efficient. So let's start going into some of the different tools that you guys are teaching about. And let's go on the time, money, and referrals. Let's go in that order. The types of programs and apps that you can use, and how those relate to those three top things that we're going to discuss.
Sure. Well, let's touch on time, because time really, that's the one thing you can never ever get back. That it's like it's gone. And so what we focus on is really how much time does it take for you to sell a home, either on the listing or buyer side, working with a customer using the traditional methods and paper. And then what we talk about is how much time does it take when you're not using paper and you're actually using the technologies that are available to you. And what we did is we took samples from our own organization talking about how much time does it really take. On average, we save 5 hours of our time per transaction by using these paperless and mobile techniques and technologies. 5 hours. Okay? So now, if you take an average agent who might be selling 20 to 30 homes in a year, let's just say 20. 5 hours times 20, that's 100 hours right there. So you as a realtor just saved 100 hours in your year. So then my question to you, Shawn, if I told you that by going through this, you could save on average 100 hours of business time, what would you do with that time?
Oh, I mean, if I was still struggling and wanted to grow my business even more and make more money, I would be more productive and use that time to do more prospecting, more marketing, more advertising, more face-to-face appointments. But if I was at a position where I was, having good money come in and I was, living my perfect lifestyle, I would definitely put that time toward spending with family and friends and doing things that are fun.
Well, and I totally agree. I asked a good friend of ours, Michael McClure, I said, Michael, what are you going to do with your 100 hours? He said, you know what? I'm going to take a 2-week vacation because I haven't had one in 5 years because the market's been so tough.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, it's just like, you know what it is? It's like getting your life back, like taking back control of your life. So that's one thing, is time. Just the amount of time you can save per transaction. And I invite everybody who's listening, write down 5 times the number of transactions that you want to close this year. And then you tell me, is it worth your time to become paperless and start using the technologies? Because if you're selling 1 or 2 homes a year, it's probably not worth your time.
Exactly.
So then we get into money. What is your return on your investment? How much money can you save by going paperless? And this really hits home if you're a broker or a broker owner, because think about, and I challenge everybody here to think about and maybe even write down, how much money are you spending on just paper? Just the paper. Like, how many reams of paper do you use a month as a broker? And how much does that cost you? Then multiply that times 12. That is just a basic foundational issue in our business, is paper. Then what you get into is how much toner or ink or cartridges, and what about that lease on that huge printer that you have? Then we get into something more like, okay, let's talk about your transaction coordinator. Before we went paperless and we were using these paper files, our transaction coordinator really could only manage about 10 to 15 transactions a month. Because when you have paper, it takes time and you're printing everything out and you've got to do the 2-hole punch and put it in the file and put it back in the filing cabinet and do all of this stuff. By using the technologies, it has afforded our transaction manager, she can manage 20 to 30 transactions a month on her own. That right there has allowed us as a brokerage to cut our expenses when it comes to payroll. We have half as many transaction coordinators right now as we used to, because we're paperless, we're using the technologies, and everybody's able to coordinate and collaborate during those transactions. So that's number 2. That's the money saving. And just think about that all the way through your entire business. Where else can you save money if you don't have all these paper files? If you don't have to, just think about this. Back in the day, we used to have to take our paper file. Once we got a signed agreement, we'd then go hand it off to the transaction coordinator. We'd have to sit down, debrief them on everything. They may need to make a full copy of the file because I may need to keep a copy myself. And it's just a mess. And then things got missed. Balls got dropped. Well, now nothing gets missed. Timelines are hit, and that transaction coordinator, here's the thing. Our transaction coordinator can work from anywhere. She doesn't even have to come into the office. And in fact, she's not in the office today because they just got a new puppy and she's at home and she's like, I got to take care of this puppy. And I'm like, okay. it doesn't matter where she is.
Yeah,
So
I just want to jump in real quick. Out of all fairness, there's a lot of old schoolers out there that believe that you need to hold on to everything. The pack rats that I have to keep. I have to keep all my stuff with me. This is important. All this stuff is important. And out of all fairness of those, kind of explain a little bit about how the real estate market is changed and regulations have changed. How digital signatures are now accepted, because I think that's important to kind of lay that disclaimer.
it is, and this is what's fascinating, is that electronic signatures like DocuSign have been accepted for years in the real estate industry. Years, not just in the real estate industry, but in federal court, state court, it is all enforceable. Electronic signatures are enforceable in every single state in this nation. Additionally, Canada is going through the process right now to make it enforceable in all of their regions. So right there, we're moving that way. We've moved that way.
Yeah, we've been in a digital age for a long time.
We have, and it's so funny because I was talking to Stefan Swanepoel about this, and he says, here's the thing, is everybody keeps saying digital is the future. He said, we've been saying that for 10 years.
Yeah, we're already there.
Digital is now.
Yeah.
And it's either, I don't particularly care for this saying, but it's true. It is adapt or die. Because what's going to happen is that if you are unwilling to adapt to the new technologies and produce that experience for your customers because they're expecting it, what's going to happen is you're going to be left behind. You will be outcompeted in this marketplace. Now, I'll tell you this. My mom is a realtor. She's been selling real estate since 1982. And I bought her an iPad. And I said, here, just try this out. I'll show you how to use it. And you know what she did? She got rid of her laptop. She uses her iPad. She still sells real estate. If my mom can do it, I promise you anybody can. And
Yeah.
she fought tooth and nail. She's been in real estate so long that she's used paper forever. But if she can go digital, you can too.
Absolutely. So hey, and I love that because you said it. You hit the nail on the head. It is kind of vicious, adapt or die. It's a very vicious statement, but it's true, especially in the real estate industry. So the last one, we covered time, money. The last one was referrals. How the heck does technology help me as a real estate agent get more referrals? An iPad. Let's talk about that, because I think the most fun part of business, the most fun part about being an entrepreneur in your own business, doing your own thing, is when somebody calls you or emails you or hits you up on Facebook or something and says, hey, I heard some really awesome things about you. I want you to come list my home, or I want you to come show us some properties. That is when business gets fun.
It is, and this, to be quite honest, was an unexpected side effect of going paperless and mobile for us. I did not expect this. This is like not one of the purposes. But what happened is the more we started using it, customers, there are two terms that they used a lot. And in fact, I compete with some of our agents having fun saying, hey, let's see who can get more wows or that's so cool during an appointment with a customer, because they say, wow, or wow, that's so cool. And what that does is it's psychologically, it creates this experience for the customer that they've not had before. And in fact, quite often the customer will say, man, my last realtor didn't do this. And to which I don't say this, but it's like, well, of course not, because 10 years ago when you bought this house, the technology wasn't here. But we're using that to our advantage. So for example, when we take a buyer out on our 5-step buyer tour, what happens at the end of the day after they write the offer is, when people write offers and they're buying a house, they go and celebrate with friends and family. So they'll go have dinner with friends and family, and they'll start talking about the experience in the home that they're going to buy. And then the friends and family go, well, gosh, I'd really love to see this house. It sounds exciting. Well, through the technologies we're using like Evernote, the client, our buyers, are able to pull up on their iPhone, their iPad, or their laptop and show the client all of the notes we took about the house, all of the photos, the audio file, absolutely everything that we talked about through the entire tour. And then their friends and family are like, oh man, I want that experience the next time I buy or sell a house. And that's the excitement. And then they say, who's your realtor? That's when it starts getting exciting, is that when we're not having to work to generate new business, our customers are doing that because they are so happy and so satisfied with the experience that we produced. That to me is the exciting part, because then you really don't know how big your business is going to be because of the social aspect of it. Then our customers go on Facebook and say, oh man, here's a picture of our new house. And by the way, Gary Wise at the Goodlife team helped us do this in a way that was really uncommon. He just used his iPad the whole day. And then people start asking questions. So that is talking about referrals. How do you get more referrals by doing this? And it's just by producing an experience for your customer that they've never had before. That it's what Christina Wise talks about, is taking it from a 4-star experience to a 5-star experience. How do you produce that 5-star experience so you generate more business for yourself?
It's amazing that you said that, because and I'll put it into perspective, because I was thinking, I'm always like trying to correlate what you're saying to like something that someone can maybe experience on their own. Remember car dealerships a long time ago, how it was just an experience with the dealership and that's it when you go in to do whatever, and what you started to see as time progresses, they wanted to change the experience. Now some of them haven't caught on, but now when you go into like a high-end dealership like a BMW or a Mercedes dealership or an Infiniti dealership, even these Hondas and the Toyota dealers, now they've got, they got the coffee laid out for you. You've got the free water. They got Wi-Fi areas, as areas for your children. And it's because they wanted to create a different experience, a wow experience that you can remember when you left the dealership. That's, why can't real estate agents catch on to that as well? We need to be creating a wow experience for people, whether they do business with us or not, that they need to walk away going, man, that was something that was totally different that I wasn't expecting. And I love how you've taken technology and you've correlated that into that. That's amazing. That's amazing. And what's cool though is that this is not theory. You guys are practicing it right now in your business. This isn't theory. You're practicing it.
Well, and that's exactly right. This is real. Every single one of our agents is using it. And in fact, if you walk through the Goodlife team office, you'll see an iPad on every desk. And then when they go out on their listing appointment or buyer's appointment, all they do is they show up with their iPad. Gone are the days where you have to show up with a briefcase and a file and all this paper and pens and all this stuff. I remember the days I'd go on to listing appointments and I would spread paper out all over the table, and really to talk to our clients about what we're going to do to help them market and sell their home and what their home is worth. I don't need that anymore. And in fact, through our systems, another total side effect is that by using these systems, it draws our customer into the experience with us, because we sometimes during the appointments, and we teach this, is we will give our iPad to the customer. And what we're really doing is we're using that technology as an icebreaker and a medium for us to be able to communicate with them even more. It just draws them into the experience even more.
I love it. I love it, man. Well, listen, we can't give away all the cool stuff, because I want you to give me the rundown real quick on what we're going to be discussing on our special presentation that we're going to be putting together, because I know a lot of people are probably going, okay, tell me more about it. Let's talk about the paperless agent iPad for real estate. Give me some high level bullet points on what we're going to be discussing, and then let's make sure everyone gets registered for that presentation.
Absolutely. What we have time for during that presentation is either to work on iPad for buyers or iPad for sellers. What we're finding in today's market is all agents really need more listings, because that's where you have leverage. That's where you have the power, especially when inventory is so low. So what we're going to focus on during the webinar is our 5-step listing appointment. And we're going to take you through all the way from what happens to when you ring the doorbell, all the way through to when the moment you get back in your car with a signed listing agreement on your iPad. And we're going to take you step by step and show you exactly every app that we use, and more importantly, how we use it to produce that 5-star experience for the customer.
Man, I can't wait. We're going to have a lot of fun. So, guys, do us a huge favor. Go ahead and click the button somewhere on this video. If you're watching it on Facebook, you'll see it to the right of the video, or above or beyond below on the Realby site. Click and get registered for it. If it's already passed, no problem. Get registered for a replay. We might be doing a replay of this special presentation pretty soon. Man, Gary, I really appreciate you getting on this today, and this has been a lot of fun. I know we're going to do more of this stuff in the future, because you guys also have got a really cool presentation on Evernote. I've been seeing some stuff that you guys are doing. Talk a little bit more about that. So I'm really interested to learn more about that. Again, I appreciate you, man. Any last words for everyone that's watching today?
Yeah, the one thing I would say is don't be afraid. If you don't know how to use an iPad, if you don't have an iPad, or if you only have an Android device, or if you think you're not technologically savvy, don't worry, because we will teach you in granular steps, step by baby step, exactly how to use an iPad, how to install the apps, how to use the systems. So what I would say is, come join us on this webinar, and it doesn't matter what your technology level is. Come join us, and I'll show you how easy it is.
Awesome, man. Well, listen, again, I appreciate you, Gary. We'll talk soon. And
All right.
Everybody get registered for the webinar.
Thanks a lot, Shawn.